Okay, oli ku verse strange 256 gwe sebo banyabo atulaba kwaniriza nnyo. Embiranyi ebaddewo okumala ebbanga wakati w'abayimbi Bebe Cool ne Bobi Wine. Truth be told, yo yali yavaawo. Naye ate kirabise nti waliwo omuntu agezaako ennyo okulaba nga apika ekintu kino tuddeyo ku biifu ya Bebe Cool ne Bobi Wine. Ate nga akipika si mulala ye mwana mulenzi Bebe Cool. I just don't know when did the day simanyi sijjukira lunaku Bobi Wine lwe yasembayo okwogera oba okudiscussinga ku Bebe Cool. I don't remember. Naye ennaku zino buli wabeera ku live akola ne TikTok live naye nga ze specifically kwogera ku Bobi Wine. Now yavudde nategeeza eggwanga nti Ayina Bambegga mu nkambi ya Bebe Cool, Ayina Bambegga ewa Bobi Wine. Bino si bigambo byange, njagala owulirize katukomewo.
Like this. And I also know, that's why you see most of the times tugoba abantu mu clicks zaffe. Gagamero nokera ku machango bagobye omuntu. Nsobola okuteeka reason nti nagobye omuntu na disrespectinga. Naye nga nze nkimanyi yabadde passing information ewa Joseph ewa Chameleon, yabadde passing information ewa Bobi. So ne wa Bobi nga waliyo omuntu abantu baffe naffe betukozesa. So I came up with that plan. Honorable Namayanja decided to support it. It was a very expensive idea, but it was the perfect idea. So I had two types of people. I had the ghetto team, and then I called my friend, he's called Cloud. I told him, Cloud, I need all the media personalities that are strong, the best, with the best platforms. So when we started to go at that time into Bonga Nawe, I had 6 coasters. Each coaster had 40 media personalities. 40 media personalities. 40 times 6. I had them. I was paying each of them, each media personality was being paid 150,000 per day. Per day. 150,000 per day, 50,000 kuliko okusula. Because I gave them a plan, I told them, look, you're going to use 20,000 to sleep. So when mbeera babiri mufune room emu eya 40, oba room emu eya 50, 25, you save. So when you spend 20 on accommodation of 25, the other 25 is breakfast ya 5,000, lunch ya 10k, dinner ya 10k. So you spend 50k in a day and you save 100,000. For 3 months when you're saving 100,000, erobo koze yo cent. But I told them that the most important thing where I wanted the media personalities to go on that campaign during the COVID was Ugandans had been misled when it comes to information about Uganda. But now Uganda bali misled nnyo nga tebamanyi Uganda. Kiche kyaleetera okubeera nga bali tebamanyi Uganda. Chali chimunga banamawulire tebamanyi tebatambulangako mu Uganda tebavisitanga omunamawulire amanyi Kampala na waabwe gye bamuzaala. Ne bwe muge president akanya kwogera ku nguudo, president akanya kwogera ku daamu, president akanya kwogera ku development, model farms biki tebabimanyi because tebatambulangako. Kati ekyo nakyo ne ngamba ngenda kigatta, so nagatta ebintu bibiri ngamba njagala ntambuze bannamawulire ku campaign trail balabe kitubera tuogerako why we support Museveni. Kubanga batuufu okuwakana, omanyi waliwo wakana, waliwo support wogane ekintu, kubanga nawe tokirabangako. So nengamba abana bagayi just tebalabangako, naye opportunity eno bwe emyezi 3 okutambula Uganda yonna, omuntu akyuka obwongo. These are some of the words I gave Honorable Namayanja. Nemugamba Honorable Namayanja, NRM ina weakness erimuku information flow. The party has done a very good job. Yes, the party has erine bichamu ebimwe nga corruption eziriyo abantu bamwe abatakoze bibalina okukola. Naye ate NRM party koze ebintu bingi nnyo ebirungi. Naye ate tebyogerwako lwaki? Lwakubanga twateekawo bridge nti tewaliwo basobola byogerako kuba tebabimanyi. Omuntu nabere Kampala nga tamanyi nti Gulu is one of the cleanest cities in Uganda. Omuntu nabere Kampala n'atamanya nti Uganda eyina ensozi n'ebikko ebirungi ennyo. Omuntu nabere Kampala n'atamanya nti factories zizimbibwa all over the country. Bakanyanga kuwulira, people are just hearing, hey, President Museveni keeps getting his votes in the villages. You call them the villages, but the man has developed those areas. There's water, there's electricity, there are roads, there are hospitals, there are schools at a certain level. They are not the best hospitals in the world, but they are hospitals that have saved people. They are not the best schools in the villages, but they are schools that have educated Ugandans like me. My friends, I went to school. My nursery school, I was in a school called Muhoozi Boarding Primary School, which is in Kasanda, past Mubende. That's where I began my nursery in top class. So during that time, imagine when I saw my nursery, Muhoozi, Kasanda. But I am the guy who's speaking to you all this information. In Gulu, the universities that are there, my lawyer wange, friend wange, mtok ebo, council ebo, amateka ya gamalira lira. Amateka gola bago, and you're yet to see these young people. You're yet to see them. Mbale universities, those are places where people are concentrating on education. So katinga bantu babera we Museveni obululu abujja country yeta now. Yeah, he knew. The president is very clever. He knew that Favali wano mu center tubera nyo muwalala, but the real development, most people wano mu center baloza nti Uganda stops in Kampala here in Buganda. No. Uganda is a spread country within the borderline. So that's how I came up with the plan of getting all the ghetto guys to go with them and all the media personalities to go with them. The ghetto guys, I was to remove them from the activity so that these guys come, they don't find them, so they don't have anyone to use. Remember them, they fear police. Okay, so if you take away these guys, then they don't have anyone to hire to face police. So I was solving a security issue. At the same time, I was solving an intimidation issue. But I was not going to explain to a layman. I can't give my plan. I keep my plan. All I say is, but these people like it when Bebeku looks a fool. So I gave you the face of a fool to kneel down and give t-shirts. The t-shirts were very simple. NRM has t-shirts. President can print t-shirts. It was always good because the intimidation was telling people not to wear anything yellow. You remember cars were being beaten. So for me, I was giving out the t-shirts to re-encourage people to put on the yellow. But the actual reason was now these other two that I've explained to you. That was smart. But I didn't need to explain to a Ugandan that, oh, I'm moving with the ghetto guys, I'm kneeling down. You remember I knelt down. Let me tell you, in the first 14 days, Kyagulanyi was conversing about Bebekul on his rallies. I have that video in Fort Portal where he had done his rally, telling his people that when this Rasta comes here kneeling down, giving t-shirts, comes, chase him away. The topic was very simple. I needed his diversion. He's not at the same level with the president. No. He's at the same level with the Bebekus, the chameleons. He's a musician. He will never stop being a musician. That's why now all the people in the opposition are suffering. They are suffering because they refuse to accept the truth that they are dealing with an artist. They are not dealing with a politician. They are not dealing with a presidential material. No, they were dealing with an artist who is directly competing with his fellow artists. That's why some of the fans, his musical fans, come up and say, Bebekul Kyagulanyi yamuleka da. So it is a musical thing, yamuleka. These are the same people who cannot ask this guy to reason politically or economically. But to them it is about Kyagulanyi yaleka Bobi Wine yaleka Bebekul. Bobi Wine yaleka chameleon. So, in a nutshell, ne Bobi nga jali ayagala ku making sure nti akakasa nti abonna baleka nenga ate kabaka yamukola mulina bwenti because nze nali sina budde bwa kintu neki nali nina obudde bwa plan yange nga bwenjikola mujjeko abamawulire mujjeko abageto ate nga mumanyi mukodo. So at the end of the day alitasobola kusobola plan yange, but era God works in mysterious ways. Mu NRM twalinamu abantu abali bakola naye. We had so many people who are working with Kyagulanyi. How are they working with Kyagulanyi? They were working with Kyagulanyi because the more Kyagulanyi put on pressure on the president, the more the president released the budget. We even had people in the police force doing very bad things intentionally. We had members of the parliament from the opposition, or we had MP candidates paying police people to arrest them, to mishandle them as women, to tear. Don't you remember that time when they were tearing women's bras? What? You look at a policeman, you say, why is this policeman really mishandling a woman? Kumbe these MPs were paying a backdoor. These guys were getting 2-5 million. Remember, their salary is less. So when you're given 5-10 million to kuzoganya, it appears legit that the police is mishandling Ugandans. All these things were planned. As NRM people, I tell you, I knew several people who were working with this guy, but they were way too stronger that if I attacked them directly, I would be down by today. So I said, no, I will devise my best way to work with the president. And I know the president at that time could not understand me very well, even himself, because I did not explain to him this thing, because I explained it to only Honorable Namayanja. That's why at the end of that campaign, there was a meeting at State House with all musicians and the SEC members. And in that meeting, I raised my hand. Full Figure was there. All the artists were there. Kusasira who. I raised my hand to talk, but the president wasn't picking me. Remember, that was at the end of the campaign after the president had been announced and Asinze. The president kept on choosing anyone else, Full Figure, but wasn't picking me. Until when the president said, Bebe could take our mkono. What was disturbing me? Kumbe, the president had been told that my idea was just to give out t-shirts and kneeling. It wasn't a mobilization tool. So I wanted to ashame 3 people who had told the president that my idea wasn't a mobilization tool. That is the day I was supposed to explain to the president for the first time what the giving out t-shirts and kneeling meant. Kati president we ansirisa nempulira mu meeting inga balimba president. So many things happened there. I got angry, and ladies and gentlemen, for the first time I'm going to tell you, I got up out of the president's meeting and I left State House. I will never forget. I knew that Bange zompisa mbi na yo busungu bwali bunzitanga sobola gena maaso nga ntudde n'abantu nga balimba president nga ndaba bwenti. Nenstuka nenzija wentebe nenfuluma nengenda. And remember, oyita mu mulyango gumu toyiswa kuyita no president jatudde era yandaba bwati nga nsituse kubanga yasooka kungamba gweteka wansi omukono gogenda kumanya ogenda kwogera ebintu bingi. Nenfuluma nali ntuuka ku Saya Queen. As I was arriving Saya Queen, ne bankubira essimu ne bambuuza oluwa ne mbagamba ndi Kampala. Bagamba badde bakweta ne mugamba it's okay. Era president yaddamu nankubira essimu after 1 month. But okunkubira essimu after that 1 month, I had spoken to General MK and I explained myself very well to General MK. The use of my mobilization tool. That is what they call mobilization. Mobilization, when you see us as musicians singing is not mobilization. I will come to that point. Singing is entertaining. It has a small element of mobilization because your fans will then trust the platform and the reasoning that you're there. Yes, but there's actual mobilization to actualize a vote. So, that was the plan that was 2026, I think. The one of, 2021. Yes, that was 2021. Okay? So, how did it fall down? They went and convinced the president because we were stopped 3.5 weeks in. So, a team of people at the secretariat went and convinced the president that, remember at that time, there were two things that were happening. Also, let me tell you this. Kyagulanyi was doing, there were COVID guidelines at that time. The guidelines did not allow masses. So the Electoral Commission came up with saying that you can only gather 200 people. So Kyagulanyi, I knew that he wasn't going to use 200 people. He knew that the president is scared of COVID because the president was always covered and wasn't getting close to people. He was at a distance. So I knew that this picture is going to be, if Kyagulanyi goes on the roads with these masses of people, and then the president stays in a tent with 200 people, the picture is automatically going to be misinterpreted as Museveni not having supporters. It was a very dangerous moment. Because imagine 3 months when Museveni is in tents of 200 people and Kyagulanyi every day has masses of people walking on the road. That would have convinced the international community. That would have psychologically twisted the mindset of every Ugandan that actually it is true Ugandans no longer support President Museveni. I saw it and I said I'm not allowing this. That's why the first group of people that I had were the ghetto kids, those ghetto gangsters. And then plus adding on the media, because I also said I have to take away the media so that it's not covered fully. Now I'm saying things because there's no need to they're no longer secrets. It's just to show you how we think out these things. Because most of you don't have an idea. You don't know that we sit down and plan. And we plan. Okay, you think we just move. So, I said, okay, now, buli wentuuka ku kyalo ng'oledde nina abaana ba ghetto bus nga 30. Okay? Kigenda kuwa abantu confidence nga tebambadde yellow. Ne tuyingira mu maduuka nga tugaba t-shirts za yellow. Ne tuyingira in their homes nga tugaba t-shirts za yellow. They will feel safe, so they will come up. Remember, there was a game of intimidation. So that thing was taking away intimidation from cities. And people were now openly coming back to put on the yellow. So, my plan worked very well. Because every time you saw Kyagulanyi with his big trail of people, you saw Bambegga with so many people on the streets. But President Museveni was in the serious meetings of the 200s. You get the game? So that's how it happens. Now, how did it go down? It went down when 3 people went and convinced the president in a meeting in Soroti that Bambegga atuleted the Electoral Commission egamba tusiga COVID. And the president, you know President Museveni, when it comes to COVID, even up to now, to have a meeting with President Museveni, we are still going for COVID checkups. Up to today, President Museveni did not even think twice. He called off the movement. I made calls that day. I nearly ran mad. I said, how can I convince this? I went, I talked to Namayanja. Namayanja fought in the meeting. Honorable Namayanja fought in that meeting to tell people that there's a better good in this idea than just what you're seeing here. Naye kumbe, what my format was doing, it was going to stop the big budgets that the president was going to release. Because by countering Kyagulanyi, then there is no pressure from the president or for the president. And without pressure on President Museveni, he never releases money. So nali musente z'abantu nga mwenzanyira. Naye ate at the end of the day, nga nebuuza nga ngamba neba n'abantu. Esente n'eggwanga lyaffe okwonooneka, because remember at the end of the day, we had a problem of mindset. Nga abantu bali mu kugenda convinced ddala nti no President Museveni talina buwagizi, nti Uganda mbi, nti Uganda bleedinga. Ekintu tekitandika okuyingira. Era nze abawagizi ba NUP abasinga sibanenya, because babasigamu ekintu ekyo nti Uganda bleedinga. Naye mwe bwe mutunula mu COVID bantu bameka abaafa enjala. Ensi z'abazungu zonna ze mulaba abantu baafanga enjala, ng'oli talina wajja kawunga naye nga ffe wano ofuluma ku muti n'ojjayo omuyembe. Naye bakonvinsinga president nga nkirabira ddala. Bwe nva mu pule ne nzaayo abageto ne baddayo ku kkubo, abaana ati bo tebasobola kubeererawo awo. Bo balina okugenda okuzoganya okukola. Abasanga nze wano mbadde mbawa $5,000, naye kati bwe baddayo ku kkubo. It took only 2 days. Mwalaba amasasi mu Kampala, mwalaba entalo ku kkubo, iganga yonna, amayinja, front. That is the day, that is the week gye mwalabanga abasirikale ne bakuba abantu amasasi emange wa Kiseka yonna, ng'olwo abaana bakomyewo babalemese. Abaana bannegaya bannange, abaana ba ghetto baakaaba amaziga. Do you know, abaana banyumizanga ebintu buli night nga tumiitinga, nga tumaze okulya biki, abaana banyumiza bagamba manyi bwe tubba akasimu okatwala ew'omukulu akasimu ka $3-4 naye ng'omukulu akuwayo $2,000, naye ssebo kati omunene otufunidde $5,000 buli lunaku. Okitegeera bananga abaana baakaaba. I've never seen what I saw. Nenfuba nenjogera namayanja mukazi watunangamba bebe sina kyakola. It has failed. Okitegeera nentika abaana nentika zibasi zonna abaana ne bakomawo e Kampala. Abaana olwakomawo e Kampala bwe bati ne baddayo ku kkubo, ne busimu ne buvuga okuva ewa abantu nga bameeya Kyagulanyi abakozi baabwe ne bakomawo ku kkubo. 3 days later masasi mayinja buli kimu. That is why twatuuka n'okulonda n'ebya internet we byatandikirawo okuvaako. So nga ate internet eno singa nali proceedings ne trail yange y'abannamawulire, it means by the end of the media, by the end of the rallies on that campaign, media yonna yali badde side ya NRM, wali badde teweetaaga kujjako internet. Wali badde teweetaaga kubanga basojja bonna nali mbalina. Okuvira ddala ku websites, okudda ku Facebook, okudda buli aba Twitter bonna nali mbalina. But of course, chenali nsinga okunyumirwa is I always wanted to stay in the dress code of a musician who wants to just sing and jump on stage, because that's what my enemies wanted or my competitors wanted. They wanted to always convince themselves that I think small. So what I did, I left them to think that I think small. Era abantu abo bakuba program eyo bankola bubi. Sometimes I look at that lady, emphasizing ku kintu ekyo, and I'm very proud that finally I got an opportunity this time to execute the same program but a bit different. Era kino kye mwalabye ekyabayimbi ne bannamawulire just kwabadde kubulako ba ghetto. Now, towards the beginning of this campaign, I went to Mr. Damulira's, Afande Damulira's office. Ne mugamba Afande Damulira, programu yange ogijjukira yalina abaana ba ghetto. Tulina bajja mu city. Mwami Damulira ku luno n'angamba nti bebe, this time you don't need to take them because we have built good structures in them. Okay, and they are ready to work within their areas. Nemugamba, oh yeah, that is right. Why? Because before tewali omuntu yabazimba mu structures, bali bakozesebwa bukozesebwa. Era that's why today you see nti this time movie yange yali yabannamawulire n'abayimbi bokka. So now you can